Do you remember what you dreamed about this morning? Most likely no. But in that very first second when you woke up, before your eyes even opened, something was there. A feeling, maybe a face, maybe a voice, maybe something that scared you or made you laugh. Then it was gone. Within seconds, without thinking, taken from you. You dream every single night, without exception, even if you have no awareness of it whatsoever. Scientists know this because they watched people sleep in laboratories. When they woke them during REM sleep, almost everyone could describe a dream. Even people who had been saying for years that they never dream. So the problem is not that you don't dream. The problem is this: your brain is hiding them from you. And when you learn why it does this, you will start questioning what else your brain is keeping from you. Think about it this way. Dreams are not like ordinary memories. You shouldn't need to make any effort to remember them because dreams are lived in real time. You are right there. You feel it, you see it, you are afraid, you laugh. So why do they disappear within minutes? Let's try a thought experiment. If the same thing happened in your waking life, you had breakfast, talked to someone, went outside, and by midday you remembered none of it, you would go to a doctor. That would be a disorder. But for dreams, we accept this as normal. Why? Because this is not actually normal. This is something your brain is actively doing. In 2019, researchers from Japan and the United States published a study in the journal Science. Their findings were shocking. The brain is not forgetting dreams. The brain is actively deleting them. And the neurons responsible for this, deep inside the brain tissue in the hypothalamus, are connected to the same hormone that controls your appetite. So the system in your brain that controls your hunger is also responsible for erasing your dreams. This is not a coincidence. This is by design. But first you need to understand something. Where do dreams actually happen? Sleep is not one single thing. Every night your brain passes through 4 to 5 distinct cycles. And within those cycles there is a phase called REM sleep. REM, rapid eye movement. During this phase, even though your eyes are closed, they move rapidly beneath your eyelids. Your breathing becomes irregular, your heart rate quickens, and your brain works almost exactly the way it does when you are fully awake. According to dream researcher Deirdre Barrett at Harvard Medical School, during REM sleep, the brain regions responsible for transferring memories into long-term storage, both those regions and the storage areas themselves, are relatively deactivated. So at the exact moment dreams are being produced, the system that would record them into permanent memory has shut down. The scene is set, the play is running, but the recording device is off. And how long does REM sleep last? In the first cycle, only 10 to 15 minutes. But as the night progresses, the cycles lengthen. By the final cycle toward morning, REM sleep can reach 45 minutes. This is why you more easily remember dreams you had just before waking. You came out of that last cycle and had slightly more time for memory transfer. But most of it still goes. Why? Because the chemical environment doesn't allow it. This is where it gets genuinely strange. Your brain runs on chemicals every second. Neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that carry signals between nerve cells. And when you are awake, two important chemicals keep this system running. One is acetylcholine, the other is norepinephrine. When both are at high levels, you are awake, focused, and memories are forming. Now enter REM sleep. Acetylcholine stays high, but norepinephrine drops to almost zero. And this combination, high acetylcholine, zero norepinephrine, puts your brain in a very strange place. The brain is active, dreams are being produced. It is working almost like it does when you are fully awake, but it cannot form memories. Without norepinephrine, the brain cannot record what is happening. You can see, you can feel, you can be afraid, but when you wake up in the morning, none of it is there. In 2016, Becchetti and Amadeo demonstrated exactly this. The absence of norepinephrine directly blocked memory recording during REM sleep. But the story doesn't end there, because the 2019 study published in Science revealed something far more shocking. The brain wasn't just failing to record dreams, it was actively erasing them. In the hypothalamus, deep inside the brain, in a region the size of a walnut, there is a group of cells called MCH neurons. These neurons are connected to an appetite hormone. And during REM sleep, these neurons activate, sending long inhibitory signals to the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. They actively suppress memory formation. Do you know what happened when researchers turned off MCH neurons in mice during REM sleep? The mice remembered what they had learned during REM sleep far better. They performed significantly better on memory tests. When the neurons were turned back on, memory performance dropped. So when these neurons are active, the brain is erasing new information. When they are off, the erasing stops. This is not a malfunction. This is intentional. But why? Why does the brain expend this much effort erasing dreams? The answer is more logical than you might expect, and at the same time, far more unsettling. Think about it. Every night you have an average of 4 to 5 dreams. Each one can last tens of minutes. They contain people, places, emotions, events. If all of that loaded into your memory every morning, what would happen? Researchers call this information overload. The brain would struggle to distinguish which memories were real and which were dreams. Your actual life experiences would blur together with dream imagery. The brain erases dreams to prevent this. But here is a much more interesting question. Does everyone forget the same amount? No, and that difference says a great deal. Neuroscientist Thomas Andrilin at Monash University spent years studying dream recall. One of his findings was this: people who rarely remember dreams are not actually dreaming less. They are simply forgetting faster. And he found something else. If these people are woken during REM sleep, right in the middle of dreaming, they can describe a dream too. So the issue is not whether you dream. The issue is when you wake up. If you come directly out of REM sleep, if your alarm goes off at exactly that moment, your chances of remembering the dream are very high. But if you drift into deep sleep and wake from there, the dream is already gone. And there is one more thing. Some people systematically remember their dreams better. This is not random. In 2014, French neuroscientist Jean-Baptiste Eichenlaub and his team studied brain activity. In people who frequently recalled their dreams, a specific brain region, the temporoparietal junction, was more active both while awake and during sleep. This region is associated with paying attention to external stimuli, meaning people who remember their dreams well are actually lighter sleepers. They experience more brief awakenings throughout the night, most without realizing it. And during these brief awakenings, the brain can transfer the dream into short-term memory. But if you don't record it immediately upon waking, that goes too. You check your phone. You think about coffee. The day begins. And the dream is gone. But among all of this, there is something science still cannot fully explain. Sometimes the dream disappears and only a feeling remains. You don't know what you saw. You don't know who was there, where you were, what happened, none of it. But the feeling is there. Sadness or warmth or an unnamed sense of loss, as if you missed something important but cannot for the life of you remember what it was. Neuroscientists have tried to explain this. The answer is this: during dreams, the amygdala, the brain's emotional processing center, is extraordinarily active, perhaps even more active than it is when you are awake. Emotions are being processed intensely, but the prefrontal cortex, the center of logic and decision-making, is largely offline. This is why dreams feel illogical, incoherent, absurd. And here is where something very strange happens. The memory goes, but the feeling stays. The content is erased, but the trace remains. The brain erases what the dream was, but sometimes preserves how the dream felt. And that trace, that unnamed feeling, is what you are left with when you wake up. Scientists don't fully understand why this works this way, but there is a hypothesis. Maybe the brain is not learning the content, it is learning the emotion. Maybe the purpose of a dream is not to leave you with a story, but to process a feeling. And once the work is done, the story can be erased, because the emotion has already been transferred. Every night, without your awareness, your brain may be performing an emotional cleaning. And when you wake up in the morning, you are feeling only the traces of that cleaning. Now take a step back. Every night you dream, without exception. Every night your brain builds scenes, creates people, generates emotions. Faces that speak to you, places you go, things you experience. And every morning, almost all of it is gone. Your brain erases it actively, deliberately, by design. Now think about this. If the brain expends this much energy erasing dreams, that erasing serves a purpose. The brain does nothing for nothing. Maybe dreams are not meant to be remembered. Maybe they are meant to be lived. Maybe their purpose is not to leave you with a story, but to carry you from one place to another, to process an emotional weight, to reorganize a memory, to work through something during the night that could not be resolved during the day. And when the work is done, the story can be erased, because the result has already been delivered. But here is exactly where the most unsettling question arrives. If the brain produces this much every single night and erases almost all of it, then who you are right now was partly shaped by the things you forgot. Dreams you don't remember changed you, without your awareness, without your knowledge. Every morning you wake up slightly different from the day before. And most of the time you don't know why you feel different. Because the thing that changed you is gone. Only you remain.